everybody, it's Cindy the Scrapologist. I'm here continuing the Gatefold writing kit series, and today I'm going to be working on this insert a little bit. I have a few ideas for this. Actually, I've had a gazillion ideas today. No exaggeration there. And so I need to get them out and get them done. So this is going to be a little bit of a hodgepodge. I know I'm not necessarily going in any particular order creating this, but this is what I do. This is how I do things. I don't do things in any particular order, logical order. I just, when I have an idea, that's the next section that I do. So that's how I work, and so hopefully that doesn't annoy you too much. And I still got the sniffles. I'm going to try not to cough and sneeze too much. Hopefully that happens okay. So here are my ideas. The first thing I wanted to do, let me show you what I already did. So I decided that this pocket for the stamps, I put the stamps in there and then I couldn't get them out. I made this too small. It looks super cute and everything, but it's not really practical. So what I did was, just for the fun of it, yesterday I made this little origami book. And I thought, oh, it's the right size for there, so I stuck it in there. But what I decided to do was just decorated the outside of the pocket with just a postage stamp that was part of it was a scrapbook page like this. Like Graphic 45 always has stamps in their kits. It was just something like this that I had in my scraps that I cut out. Excuse me, and put on there. And then I just have a bunch of stamps here from my stamp collection. I've been collecting stamps since I was 10 actually, since the 1970s. And so I decided to just put the stamps on a little paper clip and hold them on the outside. And then I just stuck this little origami book in there just for fun because it fits perfectly. So in retrospect, I would make this pocket a little bigger, or as Lori had suggested, one of my viewers, she put a larger cellophane envelope on here, which was a good idea. So, you know, when you're kind of inventing something, you find these things out as you go along, and sometimes you have to modify. The other thing I'm going to do is, I shouldn't have put this on yet. I'm going to take this off with my undo and mat under here and then put the pocket back on. I'll do that off camera. You don't need to watch that. That'll be boring. And I had a little piece of scrapbook paper from Prima, the old Prima Stationer's kit. Oh, I made so many mini albums out of that. I loved that, and I still have. I bought so many of that kit, and because people kept buying these mini albums I was making, I have a ton of really cool scraps that could fit with this theme that I'm doing. But I matted that. I just put a square there that is 4.5 by 3.5. Sorry, why does my camera keep focusing so fast? Hope it's not making you seasick. But what I thought I would do for the outside is use some tissue paper from my new tissue paper kit. And I'm just going to glue it down and put it on the outside of this. And the nice thing about this the tissue paper is it's subtle, so I'll be able to put other things on here. Like I found this might look nice. So I don't know what else I want to do here. I know I do want to take this off. Oh, this still didn't glue down. You know how many times I've glued this sucker down? It doesn't want to stay. Let me tape it. Actually, I'll put it on later. I'll put the tissue paper down first, as long as that wasn't glued on. Get my glue stick. This is the wonderful thing about tissue paper. It's so easy to decorate with. It's so versatile. And so I now offer tissue paper kits in my shop. A lot of you like to go to the dollar store and get napkins. That's really fun. But I find that they often have party or season themes, and I'm just not into either of that. And so I made my own and decided to offer them to you all. I wanted vintage looking ones. So when you get these, they are going to be affixed to an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper just at the bottom and the top, and you just have to cut off the adhesive portion. And it gives you an 8 by 10. Actually an 8.5 by 10, technically. So you just cut that off and then comes right off. I'm still working up my gumption to do the 500 subscribers giveaway. I'm still not feeling well enough to really put a lot of energy into that, and so I want to make it special and show my face on camera and have some fun with you all, so I haven't forgotten about that. I liked this because it's script, and this is a writing kit, and that's vintage script, and the print is a little smaller. So I thought it would look nice on the outside of this. And how easy is that? Sticking to me though. Okay. Oops, I just missed my trash can. Okay. And let me ink the edges up. I won't ink here yet. You can lightly do, well, yeah. I'll do that. Just lightly go across the face of it too, just to give it that true vintage look. There. And that's the base, and now we can go through. I'm not going to do it now because I haven't quite decided, but we can still add things on, but since this is just a light tissue paper, it's not going to be too busy. So I'm going to set this aside for later because this more than likely is one of the things that's going to go on there. I have, I don't know, I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that yet. The other thing I thought about is I've been sitting here for hours deciding what I wanted to put in here because there are so many options. Did I want to make my own stationery? That's always fun. It has your, if you have personalized stationery with your name on it, put it in here. Do I want vintage postcards? I know I want envelopes on this side. So I decided, or and do I want just plain coffee dyed paper that's lined? What do I want? So many things. Well, I'm probably going to end up with a mishmash in here is the answer because I love all the ideas. So I don't know. I can't decide. But what I decided for today is I'm going to make my own postcard. I'm going to show you an example of a postcard that could go in here. So what I have is I'm going to use some cream colored cardstock for this. You could use any color you want, doesn't matter. But I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 6. That's going to be the size, throw that away. That's going to be the size of our postcard. Fits perfectly, a 4 by 6 fits perfectly in here. And that was a mistake. I'm glad that worked out that way. I didn't plan that. I'd like to say I did, but I'm not that smart. Okay, there's our postcard, and as you can see, it is going to fit in here very perfectly. And there are 10 gazillion things we could do with this too. Make our own postcard. So that's why I've been sitting here just saying to myself, my mind has been spinning. Sometimes I have too many ideas and it's hard for me to pare them down to one idea. And so that's when I get out my idea book and jot them all down. And then I find that my brain is able to make a better decision. So this is another case where we could definitely use tissue paper, scrapbook paper, any number of things. But what I decided I'm going to do, gosh, my desk is messy. That happens when I have an idea burst. I decided I'm going to use vintage book paper. I have this paper that's a little thicker that I really like. It's from a book of plants. And I just like the font on it. So we're going to cut this down to 5 by 7. And I would do, if your paper's wide enough, 7 this way, 5 this way. Well, actually, you know what? It doesn't matter. It depends on if you want your postcard to be landscape or portrait orientation. So it doesn't matter. I don't know why I said that. And then this particular one, I'm going to have it be landscape orientation. I'm going to lose this magnet. Let me put it up here on my light. I have a light up above here with a metal pole and also my camera pole, and it's loaded with magnets. That's where I like to keep my magnets. Otherwise I lose them. Okay, I'm going to get out my scoreboard and I'm going to score a 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. And lightly, because this is vintage paper, and then you're probably not going to be able to see it on the camera. There. But at each corner is a little box. It's hard to see. There we go. And so we're going to cut those all off. You know what, if I would like to learn calligraphy. It's on my bucket list, and if I had super nice handwriting, oopsie, I would be doing something different. I would make a postcard, and then in real beautiful handwriting, I would put my name and address in the upper left-hand corner in old vintage calligraphy script. It would be so pretty. Okay, so now decide which side you want to be showing. In this case, they're both palms, so it doesn't really matter. And fold in all of your sides. Okay, and so what we're going to do is wrap this around our little postcard. But first, and let me get a smaller glue stick. I just have that big fat one. Mom and I went to the dollar store yesterday, and for $1, they had packs of these that had 8 in them. Sitting right next to that, for $1, they had packs that had 4. Why would anybody buy a pack of 4 for $1 when you can get a pack of 8 for $1? I don't know. I didn't. We were wondering about that. We both remarked on it. We're like, gee, should we buy the one with 8 in it or the one with 4 in it? Now, if you take, yeah, I'm trying to think about how I want to miter these corners. Okay, so I'm going to take the short ends and put my glue stick down and adhere them. These short ends. Okay. Crooked. That was very crooked. I'll blame it on my cold. I know I've been really off balance because my head is so stuffed up. We'll blame it on that. Okay, then I think I'm going to take, yeah, that'll work nicely. So just take the end and fold it in like a little triangle. And do that with all of your ends. Okay, this one, don't know what happened there. So hopefully you can see this. Just folding in a little triangle because I want to have a nice neat edge. Okay, and then we'll glue this up. Make sure you glue the whole triangle. Get that really good. Actually, open it up and you're going to need to put some glue on the inside too. And glue that triangle down first. I think that would be better. And then fold it over. Oops, I just did not get enough glue on here. There, so now what you end up with is a nice mitered corner. Just looks neater. Okay. Need a little more glue here. What's up with these glue sticks? Sometimes the dollar store glue sticks are hit or miss. This is a brand I haven't used before, Jot. Seems okay. I think you just have to press a little harder. So there, now we have a cute little postcard. You could use scrapbook paper for this as well. And what I want to do to finish it off, I think, is I have my fine Sharpie pen here. I'm going to find the center. Excuse me. I've got my hibiscus tea. I'm trying to load up on vitamin C. Get rid of this thing. And I'm just going to put a dot at 3 inches. And then go down and do a series of dots right down the center of this. They don't have to be perfect either. They can be dashes, dots, but you know, you kind of want this to look handmade, so don't strive for perfection. Okay, so now got a little line down the center. I have a set of stamps, and you're going to kill me because I don't know where I got these, but they look like postage stamps and they have little airmail things here too. So I'm going to put one of these in the corner. I use this one a lot. It says Destination Unknown. along with, we're going to make it look like a little airmail. I think these are airmail thingy dingies. Now, if you don't have one of these, you could find a stamp from scrapbook paper or put a real stamp on there. There. And I'll probably ink this up a little. Needs to look more vintage for me. Love it. I love it. And then it goes in our little pocket. Or if you want the decorative side to show, it could go in like this too. And there's our postcard. So I'm going to make a bunch of these. I have another suggestion for this. Let's cut another piece of, where did my cardstock go? Here it is. Cut another piece of 4x6 cardstock for your postcard. And this time I wanted to make one with a piece from my tissue paper kit. I thought this would make a really pretty postcard. That's really beautiful. So let's just glue this down. It just won't wrap around the other side, but that's okay. Totally okay. So you can use vintage book pages, you can use scrapbook paper. You can use tissues. You can use anything you want. I just got fingerprints all over that, but they're not going to show. I must have gotten ink on my fingers when I was stamping the stamp down. Oh, this is going to make a really pretty postcard. This is what I love about tissue paper. No cutting involved. You just pull it off. These are vintage botanicals. That's part of the kit that I just listed in my shop. And how pretty is that? And then we'll do the same thing with the other side. And ink it up as well. I think this one I'll just ink the edges. And it tore a little bit right there, but that's completely okay. Oops, now I just tore the whole thing off. Oh my goodness, I'm making a mess. Now I'm getting glue everywhere. And there's nothing that says that we can't continue decorating this postcard, and I might decorate some more. Right now it's warping a little bit because it's wet from the glue, but that will stop happening. And let's just find the middle again. I'm going to do little stripes on this one. Probably, knowing me, what I will do with this one is I will stitch around the edges. I'll throw it in my sewing machine and put some stitches around the edges. I think that would look lovely. There you have it. So now we have a couple of postcards that can go in here. Now let's quickly make an envelope that will fit the size of this postcard. Unfortunately, if you don't have an envelope punch board, you're not going to be able to follow along. I do use my envelope punch board for making most of my envelopes. And what I want to do, I think, I'm going to use more of this vintage paper because I have a lot of it. But it's a little thin for an envelope, so I'm going to glue two sheets together. And I'll get out my big whamma jamma for this one. You could use any kind of adhesive that you want. You have to be so careful not to tear this. It's not super old, like 1800s, like I use a lot. I think it's more 1940s, maybe 1930s, but it's still a little delicate. Okay, so now it's a little thicker since it's got to hold a postcard. Sorry for the sniffles. So according to the envelope punch board, it's stuck to my mat. I'm getting glue everywhere. If our card is 4 by 6, then we need a piece of paper that's 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. So I'm going to cut this down to 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. No, I'm not. It's not 8 1/4 wide. I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. Wah! Well, you know what? I'm going to make an envelope out of this anyway. This is, since I already started it, it's 7 1/4. My paper is 7 1/4, so I'm going to cut it 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. And score it 3 1/2. There's nothing that says we can't have different size envelopes in our little kit here. And I am going to round the corners, round the tips. Do you know I had this envelope punch board for like a year before I knew that this was here? Because I never watch tutorials on things. I like to figure things out myself. I don't know. I never read instructions either. Drives my husband crazy. Why don't you read the instructions? I don't know. I just don't want to. Just want to figure it out by myself. And these are really fun to decorate. These envelopes made out of old book pages. And I'm not going to glue this yet. There's my envelope, because this will probably go in my, I love the way that turned out to be diagonal. This will end up going in my sewing machine too, but there's no reason why we can't tentatively stick it in here. Okay, I'm going to go get some paper so I can make the one I was originally going to make that will accommodate our postcard. Hang on. And of course, you know how much I love this paper. I mention it in nearly every video. This haberdashery paper. This would be pretty. The thickness of it makes it really nice for envelopes. Okay. Did I say 8 1/4 by 8 1/4? Let's see, card size 4 by 6. Yeah, 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. And score line 3 3/8. 3 3/8. Oops, I moved it. Hopefully I didn't move it too much. Sometimes it's hard to find the score line when you have thicker paper. Oopsie. I found a video editing software that I don't have to limit my videos to 30 minutes, so I'm happy about that. I don't have to be constantly looking up at the clock, worrying that I'm going over. I tried out a whole bunch of different programs, and every one, you think you're going to love it, and then you go to upload it to YouTube, and there's some kind of problem. Look how pretty. Look how pretty. I just love this paper. I hope it never goes out of stock. I better buy 20 more packs of it in case it does. I will never get bored of this paper. Let's see. Get my little glue stick. All right, let's test it out. So let's get out our postcard here. Not that you would put a postcard in an envelope necessarily, but I don't know. I just like the idea. Fits perfectly. You could also put some, this is the never-ending idea trove of my brain. You could also take some tea-stained lined paper and put it in the envelopes, but that's going to go right in here, and our postcards go in here, and this is coming together. Still need to decorate here and finish decorating the front, this little doohickey, the closure, finish decorating the back, but I love the way it's coming together. Okay, so that's it for today, I think. Let me look around. I think that's all I was prepared to do today. Yep. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.